multiplayer games. Oh, please make these games exclusive, Microsoft. Please. One more thing, and you give this absolute scrote the opportunity to reveal it's coming to PlayStation. It's coming to PlayStation. And that face lights up. It's like, yo, what the hell? Xbox, you have no shame. They have no shame. They have given up the console war. Chat, please believe me. Agree. You guys, bruv, are you telling me they have not given up the console war?
No, yes, they have.
Alright everybody, welcome back to another Xvault gaming video. Xvault here, and yes, today we have some good ones, of course. Plenty of examples, plenty of video clips as well, because man, it's interesting to see the Xbox fanboys really just kind of struggle with the reality of things as a whole, because they've been latching on to something else, which we'll get into as well. But without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I was saying, what we do is have plenty of good examples here that we're going to go over today of the salt mines, the salty batch files, your first dose of the week, all that good stuff. And I do want to start off by apologizing for the very beginning clip. I know that voice is very grating, but we have to see the cycle of nonsense kind of going on in between what they kind of produce there, their thought process and everything on the Xbox ecosystem fanboys, as you would call it. But that being said, let's start with our first example. It's been a minute because they're just that freaking crazy. Sometimes I can't even stand to post the stuff, but here we have Anna Anson, our first example here. The reasons PlayStation are making kids games like Astrobot are: 1, the current fan base is old, the majority are 40 plus. They are trying to get, attract newer and younger audiences to their system. We'll address these. Number 2, cheaper to make, given the fact that the last 4 PS first-party games flopped hard, especially 318 million Spider-Man 2 PS5. Imagine for a minute, if you will, somebody actually stating that Spider-Man 2 is a flop. I mean, the jealousy and salt from Spider-Man 2 alone was crazy. I can't imagine passing on these, by the way, and coping with the fact that you're willing to die for a brand loyalty to skip out on something amazing as Spider-Man. Now, I get not everybody loves Spider-Man, but the majority do. He is one of the most popular superheroes out there. That's just statistically the facts right there. And then, of course, 200 million Concord, which at this point in time, we still don't know how much Concord sold. And obviously, at this point of recording, this has been shut down and is no longer a thing because of how bad it flopped. So there we go. And then, of course, number 3, PlayStation is desperate and trying to play the nostalgia card. It might work, but it might be the goodbye message. PlayStation, anyway, is trying to push PC hard for the rest of the gen to make sure they exist. To conclude just by Xbox, #Xbox Game Pass. Now, oh my goodness, I don't even know where to start there. I mean, the fact that he's starting to call everybody old enough to where they're just moving on, so now there's a gatekeeping aspect to it, trying to attract a younger, newer audience, which, hey, you know what? With something like Mario, why would you ever not try to create that? I think this is way past overdue for the PlayStation ecosystem, trying to create a great platforming experience without relying on third party and stuff. I think, Rayman Legends and Origins and stuff was phenomenal, by the way. If you haven't played that, play those. But no, that's absolutely incorrect. I can't wait to get my hands on it. I can't wait to show this to a lot of their folks, and this game is going to sell very well. It's going to review very well. So the coping has already begun for Astrobot, and at the time of this recording, we don't even know the Metacritic score, by the way, but by the time that you're seeing this, we will have that out. But that being stated, of course, and then just the whole nostalgia card, it isn't anything nostalgic. Astrobot is fairly newer. Not everybody latched on to Astrobot VR Rescue Mission or anything like that. It was a fantastic game, another game I love to platinum. And of course Astro's Playroom, which came pre-installed, or you can install it with your PlayStation 5 system for free, and it has a platinum. And it just showcased everything that the DualSense itself can do, as well as the system, and gave a breakdown, stuff like that. But anywho, it's just, to conclude, why do any of these conclude that buy an Xbox when at this point in time we know we know more Xbox first-party games are going to continue to land on the PlayStation ecosystem. This is a last-ditch, last-hope effort, and you just love to see it. It's just pure copium to the max is what's going on here, folks. But real quick, we had also some drama throughout the week. From a game called Inatria, The Last Song. Now, this is something they made a statement on, the devs did, in regards to why it wasn't coming to Xbox. As we all know, it is now coming to Xbox because it was due to lack of communication errors. But that didn't stop some of the fanboys from really freaking out yet again that this is, of course, another game that was going to skip the Xbox ecosystem, right? Leon cannot handle it here, so he states, LOL, pirate every game that pulls this crap, F the devs, hit them where it hurts. So instead of asking why your ecosystem is not getting the game, you attack the developers. You want to harm the developers in regards to income and hope that they don't succeed and create something that is their vision, where we know games require blood, sweat, and tears of these devs and the time that it takes to create and what they put into it. And, it's the same type of people that were, relishing the fact that Concord failed and this wasn't what anybody wanted and this and that. You know what? Again, another example of why devs put their hearts and souls into there for people nowadays, especially on social media, to crap all over it, which is bullcrap. Regardless of whether a game's your cup of tea, you need to respect the process and the games, especially if the games are actually good and it not waiting on that false narrative. But we've been over that, beating a dead horse. We're talking about this game in particular, again, Inatria, right? But again, like I said, the Xbox fanboy sense right there, let's just attack the developer right away, right? Perfectly fine. Perfectly logical, right? Absolutely insanity right there. Now, one more example of the fact of another salty Xbox fanboy, same type of deal, right? Except we have Mundo Gamer. Laid in Xbox, okay, so I don't buy. So you don't buy, so you don't support again. A lot of these folks, and they hold true to their word. They will not buy, they will not support the devs. And again, instead of taking a step back and asking why to the platform, folks in regards to CEOs and other business heads and other folks that are involved in that sort of process, they want to go straight to the devs instead of asking the good questions and getting down to it if you truly are interested in a game, rather than create that negative aspect to it. So again, not coming to Xbox, I'm done. Keep grasping at a console that is dying. It is literally dying. There's nothing you can do at this point. You guys made your bed, now you're lying in it. The games are heading elsewhere. The hardware system aspect is going to be an afterthought, and we'll continue to go over that in just a moment. But just a quick example, Nib, a good friend here, Nib, he has plenty of examples, and again, this was not, the Inatria is not in regards to the performance of the system, but just a quick shout out in regards to all the instances that it has been called out in regards to the Series S, by the way, being a hindrance here. So, as you can see, even the most ardent Xbox fans have to realize Series S was a mistake by now. Compromises development, at times Series X releases too, plus didn't even set sales alike. So many devs have complained about it now. So for examples, Funcom, Series S is a challenge, Rocksteady, hamstrung by the potato, holding back the entire generation, Bosa Studios, Series S turned out to be an albatross around the neck of production, Larian Studios, issue is getting split screen working on the Series S, a huge technical hurdle, ID Software, on and on, right? I could read every single one of these if you want, leave this on a pause menu, real quick, finish the rest up here, but there's plenty of examples, and again, this is just a small sample of all the developers or some of the small examples that we've received in regards to the complications of what the hindrance is for the Series X. So you have these salty fanboys coming out and upset, and again, holding the right people accountable, you want to attack the devs when they're doing everything in their power. Microsoft has continued for over a decade to shoot themselves in the foot, and here we have plenty of examples. But again, in Inatria, that's in regards to just pure-ass communication. They can't even do that correctly, but whatever. One more quick example I just want to share with you all. Bringing Dune Awakening to the Xbox Series S will be a challenge, according to Funcom Chief Product Officer, right? It's one of the reasons we're coming out on PC first. So not only is this affecting the Xbox ecosystem, this is potentially affecting the PlayStation ecosystem as well, because they probably want to release simultaneously on all consoles to not try and play favorites here. So again, not only is it harming the Xbox ecosystem, but it's now harming other platforms as well. And how pathetic is that? And people understand and don't understand why I have a preference of PlayStation overall, and they've consistently hit the right notes for the most part. They're not perfect, they have flops, they make not so great decisions. That's going to be typical for any platform holder, I think. Eventually, they're not going to hit a home run every single time, they're not going to make all the right decisions, but overall, as a whole, you get what you get, and it's consistent. And with Xbox, they keep fumbling about, and this is why I have issues with that ecosystem. Again, I don't care where somebody plays, as long as you're being normal, enjoy what you want, do what you want. I've said this multiple times, but the point is, we get these weirdos, and this is who we like to feature. But that being said, let's move on to the video clips here, because we have some good ones. The first one, of course, we got to feature Colt and the gang again right now, but look how upset Colt is being in regards to some of the facts that's being read out by Mag and, you know, everybody else that has to be involved here. But that's enough here. Go ahead and take a look.
Indiana Jones is coming to PlayStation 5. I 100% believe those words are more important to marketing and a bigger announcement for that game than Xbox and PC get this December 8th. I think coming to PS5 is a much bigger marketing phrase than the one previous. And that's my take on it.
The stuff that now the people that I've spoken to, interestingly, they're, as it stands right now, since last December, they're batting 100 for 100. Everything they said has happened, including a 60 to 90 day exclusivity window for Indiana Jones.
Right.
That was said too. And he said the same thing. He said 60 to 90 days. He might be a little off because obviously it's going to be closer to, like, let's say 90 to 120 days. Anyways, as for other ones, what he was telling me, there's the same guy who told us the same stuff 8 months ago, 9 months ago. He's saying that he's now learning that the Starfield port right now internally is being targeted for June 2025 for Starfield. Forza Horizon 5 is coming sooner than expected. It's going to be before Starfield. That's what they're targeting as well.
Forza Horizon 5?
Forza Horizon 5 is targeted coming before. I love that. Before Starfield. And the other one, which is an interesting one, which I thought was going to come out way sooner, but apparently they faced a slight internal delay with Halo Master Chief Collection. So they've removed a targeted date for Halo Master Chief Collection, but it's still coming.
Or I do feel very confident that Halo Master Chief Collection is being worked on for PlayStation 5, which
they faced a delay.
The one thing I was going to say though is that I think gamers at this point, especially if you're an Xbox gamer, okay, and that is where you game. It shouldn't really matter to you if these games go elsewhere. Okay. And you should at this point, if you feel bad about this, just stop and just not even think about it and just expect everything to be going elsewhere. Just expect it, and you'll just feel better about it because there's really nothing you can do.
There's
no
fight.
And me, Colt, nobody can say anything to really get them to do a 180 on this. It's not going to happen.
All right, so like you can see here, they are just not having it. They know at this point in time, they'll say otherwise on social media and stuff, but right here they admit multiple times they know first-party games are coming. Halo, Forza, you name it, it's all coming to the PlayStation ecosystem. It's just without a doubt going to happen. They're not happy about it, but again, they'll try and spin it, and they're going to latch on to small L's. If you consider it small, might be a big L, because it was supposed to be a big thing, but they'll latch on to things like Concord's failure. They'll latch on to things and prey upon all that stuff. But then in the grand scope of things, PlayStation isn't losing a good chunk of their first-party games over to their competing platform, which is Xbox, and what their future is going to look like. But whatever. Let's move on to good old Jez. Can't help. We have a couple clips from Jez here, but let's do the first one. This one in regards to him just kind of crying. He's just kind of crying here in regards to Mike Ibarra, who left Xbox, of course. So he's like, I wouldn't hold everything to a T here with him, a grain of salt, because he has a chip on his shoulder, basically. Well, whatever. Take a look.
I'll see Mike Ibarra's tweet about consoles dying. Says the losers pick the narrative that fit them, and I tend to agree. What do you guys think? You think Xbox pushes this because they're losing? Question mark.
I think you should take things Mike says about Xbox with a grain of salt, because I don't think he departed from Xbox with good faith. No, I mean, well, not good faith, the wrong word. I don't think that departed on the best of terms.
I mean, if Microsoft didn't spend $80 billion, they wouldn't be doing this, right? I think if they didn't buy ABK, they wouldn't be doing this. Like, if they stopped at Bethesda, I don't think they're going down. I don't think Project Latitude is something that exists. So it's like, yeah, the industry's having these problems. It just so happens they're also having these problems at the time Microsoft spent Daddy Satya's money.
So I had a theory that like maybe some of this is partially to develop the next Xbox platform, and then after they're through with that, and they don't need to go so hard on basically refactoring the Xbox operating system, maybe they pull back on some of this stuff. Maybe this is about a short-term cash injection, and then they pull back, maybe on and then go more deeper on timed releases and stuff. But maybe that's also just pure copium.
All right. And like I said, you just see the whininess in the voice, just like trying to make excuses, trying to make the cycle go around, right? It's great. I love to see it. I do. But that being said, I do want to be a little bit of a DJ Khaled here and give you one more, or another one, if you will, in regards to a final clip from Jez. And this one will pretty much be self-explanatory as well, but here you go.
What I fight for. That's like what I feel like our podcast does. We try to advocate for Xbox fans to get a better experience. And whatever the cause of this snafu is, whether it's Xbox's platform size, whether it's some kind of disagreement, whether Microsoft got outbid or something, or whether, even if it was something like they arbitrarily excluded Xbox because the platform's not big enough and it's not a priority for them, all of the responsibility for that stops at Xbox's door. And when you're doing things like putting Indiana Jones on other platforms, when you're doing things like putting out there, one more thing, it's coming to another platform, so you don't have to buy an Xbox, or you don't even need to get Game Pass. All that kind of stuff coalesces into this sort of revolving narrative that Xbox fans are last in Microsoft's universe. And that's the bottom line for me. And that's what I think the takeaway should be. Xbox, for whatever reason, the game isn't on Xbox, and Xbox fans get screwed over, and it's really annoying.
All right, and so as you can see, the whining and crying persists, the damage controlling persists, the boo-hoo, woe was me, the victim stuff, because, oh man, we're just trying to do good things for Xbox here. It is what it is, right? Bunch of nonsense here. But that being said, we'll wrap up the video here. I thought those were good little clips here. Wanted to share with y'all of all the nonsense, of course. But I appreciate everybody sticking around, watching the entirety of the video. Your support, as always, is amazing. We're continuing to grow, getting closer to that 2,500 subscriber goal. So thank you so much. Really appreciate that. That being said, every like, every comment does help out the algorithm. Also, I love to hear from y'all. Lovers, haters, whatever you want to deem yourselves in the comments. Love to hear from you regardless. And of course, as always, if you haven't considered subscribing, definitely consider doing so, helping out a small content creator like myself. And of course, as always, just remember, don't be a salty batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault Gaming video. And until then, take care.